magnetic pole shift is one of the, theories of what causes these events. But there is a history of near extinction events. And one of the things that I've looked at, because I'm trying to figure out, between fiscal 1998 and fiscal 2015, there were 21 trillion of undocumentable adjustments in the U.S. government. If you go to our website, missingmoney.solera.com, we have years and years of documentation, including the government financials that show this. And so the question is, where's all this money going? And one of the things I've looked at in the process of looking at where all this money is going is the underground base and city infrastructure and transportation system that's been built. And
I'm sorry?
Yes. So we have built an extraordinary number of underground bases and supposedly transportation systems. Some of these are some of these are documented as part of the national security infrastructure. I think there are many more. So
in the United States?
In the United States, all over the world. But from 2021 to 2023, I took one of the smartest subscribers in the Solera Report network, and he and I spent 2 years collecting all the data and all the allegations on underground bases. And then we systematically went through and tried to estimate our guess. This is totally a guess of how many underground bases, both underground in the United States, but also underground under the ocean around the United States. And our estimate was 170. With a transportation network connecting them.
And what would be the purpose?
The purpose, if you thought you were going to get a near extinction event, so there, to me, there are two purposes. You have so many activities going on that you need to keep secret that you're basically building the capacity to, for example, if you're doing a secret space program, you need to platform it from, things that can't be seen. But I think if you're worried about a near extinction event, that's...
So I know nothing about this other than my only window into it. I knew a contractor who worked on one in Washington, in the city of Washington, D.C.
Right.
And I remember him telling me about a power box, like a transformer box on Constitution Avenue that he told me, because he worked on it personally, was actually the exit, the egress from the White House. That was kind of by vehicle. I thought that was... And I was like, really? He goes, oh, yeah, no, I installed it. I know. And I thought, well, that's kind of crazy that in the middle of this big city where I was on Constitution Avenue every day, that you could build something like that without me knowing it. Under the VP's house at the Naval Observatory, same thing. I think most people know that. Next to my brother's house on Macomb Street in D.C. But that's, I always thought that was like preparation for nuclear war. Like, I didn't really think about it that much. Some of it is,
yeah. It's preparation for catastrophe.
So, but you think that there are facilities like that in other places outside D.C.?
Oh, yeah. So if you're interested, we have a great interview. I did an interview of Richard Dolan on underground bases on the Solera Report, and it's sort of an introduction to the topic, and it's based on a lot of the research of a guy named Richard Sauter, who is very hard to interview. So Richard kind of went through all the material. And clearly it's, I don't know if you ever saw, Washington Post did a project, it was in 2010 or 12, called Top Secret America. And one of the reporters, it was a team of 2 reporters, one of them put together a database of all the different top secret installations that had been built in the country, including since the Patriot Act. And what you saw was just this explosion of money in building so many both underground and above ground facilities.
Not all sleep aids are made by pharmaceutical companies. You probably heard about 8 Sleep by now. They developed the country's most innovative products for sleep. Almost everybody in our office uses something they make called the pod, and they love it. And there's a reason that professional athletes and lots of other smart people do too. You add the pod to your mattress like a mattress cover, and it helps you get a better night's sleep and fill with vitality at the start of each day, in an intimidating way almost. It's amazing. How does it do it? Well, it uses advanced technology to track your sleep and automatically adjust the temperature of your side of the bed to what's perfect for sleep, and temperature makes all the difference. It's backed by over 600 million hours of data. They've also used those insights to create their new product, Sleep Elixir, to help you get quiet before you go to bed, fall asleep faster, and stay knocked out longer. No grogginess, no weird side effects, just better deep sleep. So if you're ready to take sleep and recovery to the next level, go to 8sleep.com/Tucker to get $350 off your Pod 4 Ultra full refund for 30 days if you don't love it. It works.
Just as a theological matter, I hate to say this, but I think it's true. If you're building a lot underground, you're on the wrong side. I don't think that's a good sign.
So I'll tell you a very funny.
I mean, right? I mean, let's just the obvious first. That's not good.
So I'll tell you a very funny story. So after I left the administration, after I left the Bush administration, I went on the board of Sallie Mae. And I'm on the board of Sallie Mae, and after one of the first meetings, there was a wonderful...
Stop. You've been talking about underground bases and colonizing space, and you clearly seem totally sane, but I'm sure some people are like, well, she's obviously crazy. I should have set the stage at the beginning with your biography, like you're as mainstream, you're on the board of Sallie Mae. Sallie Mae, you're a partner at Dillon Read. It's like,
right.
You're not just like on the internet. Right. I'm sorry. I just want to say that. I just want to say that. This is like a former high-level federal official who's on the board of Sallie Mae and a partner at Dillon Read. Okay. Just want to say that out loud.
Okay. So I'm on the board, and there was a lovely chairman, a really lovely guy. And he comes up, he says, "Can I talk to you after the meeting?" And I said, "Sure." And he pulls out this big glossy brochure for the Council on Foreign Relations. And he said, "The time has come for you to join." And he said, "We want you to ask Nick Brady to sponsor you." And I said to him, "Sam, I just don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this." And he looked shocked and he said, "You don't understand. If you don't do this, you're out forever." And just at that moment, it's these moments when things come to you. I saw in my mind, I'm very pictorial, I saw in my mind a locker in the underground base, and they were taking my name off of the locker. And I thought, if it comes to that, I'll take my chances upstairs with the hoi polloi.
Yeah, me too.
And I said, but it's at the deepest root, it's a spiritual and cultural question.
I totally agree. Who's cowering underground, like in the dark places? No.
To me, there's nothing wrong with going into a bunker if they're bombing. Okay,
yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. But I really didn't want to be with all of them in a concentrated space. It was like, no, I'd rather.
And you know them. You're not guessing at this. Like, you know a lot of these people.
I know a lot of these people, and the one thing I will have to say, if there's anything I learned from my history, the problem is not they are bad and we are good. That's not how this works. The evil and the good is threaded at every level of society, every community, every enterprise. It doesn't work like that.
Well, I'm not especially good. I know that. I know that for a fact. So
I think you're pretty good.
Yeah, but of course you know more about yourself than anyone else does, and I know what a flawed person I am. So I'll never declare myself on I'll never say God's on my side. I'll say I want to be on God's side. But
exactly.
It's an open question.
Well, it's a journey. It's never over.
Right.
And we're not perfect. And you try every day to do as good as you can. And it's like baseball. You get some hits some days, and some days you strike out.
So, but you believe that there's a whole constellation of underground bases built by the U.S. government in the United States. Like, that fact alone, just the physical infrastructure of it, because normally we talk about what are they doing?
It's enormously expensive.